What's up guys, welcome to new Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. Today I am going to show you the best way to create a melee punch damage trace. It's going to be a very easy video to follow, so let's get started. But first, if you are serious about learning and making your first game in Unreal Engine 5, join my Unreal Club. Inside, you will be able to download entire private files from my tutorials, enter private meetings and webinars with industry experts, access exclusive ebooks packed with the best tricks, get powerful asset frameworks to speed up your blueprints, and much more. The link is in the description. With that said, let's continue with the video. Alright, so as you can see, the first thing that we need is of course our punch animation. In this case, I will be using this one. It's straight and simple. So from this animation, let's right click and create an animation montage so that we can play this animation from the blueprints at any time. And there we go. Simple as that. Let's save and close just for now. With that said, let's go ahead and just create a new input so that when we press, for example, the left mouse button, we will actually execute this animation. So on the third person, input actions, we can right click and create a new input action and call this IA_punch. Something like this. And of course, if you are not using the third person template, you would go to your own input actions and so on. Now with this, go ahead and open up the IMC and just add this new input action. So it will be punch. And if we expand this, we can click this icon over here and then press the left mouse button and it will automatically add it over here. Cool, so the input is set up and the montage is set up. So now the only thing left to do is to plug it in into our third person character. So third person blueprints, third person connect blueprint. Scroll down, right click IA_punch, and let's select this first one under enhanced action events. So over here, once we start pressing the left mouse button, we will go ahead and play a montage. Now there's a couple of notes, well in this case only two, I don't know why I said couple, but the best one will always be play montage because it will go ahead and give us a bunch of handy outputs that we can use for our combat system and everything, right? So first of all, we need the skeletal mesh component. This will be this, and then also the montage. All right, so now we press play, press the left mouse button, we attack, and there we go. That's cool, straightforward and simple. So now it is time to go ahead and make sure that we will create a damage trace around our player's right arm in this case. All right, so with our montage opened, we can click this skeleton icon to open up the mannequin skeleton, and right over here we can start to create sockets. Okay, so sockets are just positions in our skeleton that then we can access from the blueprints to then spawn the traces. Okay, and I keep saying traces. If you don't know what a trace is, it's essentially just a invisible line that goes from one point to another. Okay, in this case it will be from the arm to the hand, kind of like that, right? Imagine like this. Now this will have a specific radius, and well, if the enemy is in that zone while our player attacks, well, we will deal damage. Okay, it's as simple as that. So right over here, let's go ahead and scroll down until we go to the right arm, and here we go. We have a couple of things. So there's a couple options. We could create 3 different points on traces, so a sphere here, a sphere here, and a sphere here, or we create just one long one, and there's a whole bunch of options. In this case, let's create one big trace from the upper arm to the hand, and of course it will not be a thin line, it will have a radius. Okay, so more than a line trace, it will be a sphere trace because we can have a whole area. Okay, and it'll be really cool. So under upper arm, we can right click and create new socket and rename this to the upper arm trace. Okay, we can leave it there. Now we can move it around, but we'll see that later on. And then let's go ahead and rotate the hand, add socket, hand, straight. All right, now you could specify if it's the right or the left if you were to also have attacks with the left one, but in this case let's keep it simple. All right, so save and go back to our third person character blueprint. We can start to do all of this. Now let's go ahead and create an anim montage. Sorry, not an anim montage, and a notify. Okay, so what is an anim notify? In other words, animation notify. Well, let me show you. It's basically a piece of code that we can add into our animation montages that will execute from one frame to another. In this case, we want to execute the logic of punching, so generating the traces from here to here. Okay, so yeah, kind of like here to here. So, you know, the notifies is just a very convenient way of doing it. So how are we gonna do this? Well, let's go into our content browser, right click, create a new blueprint class, expand to all classes, and search for notify. Now you will find two types of notify, the normal notify and notify state. Now we want to select state because we are able to specify a duration, right? Because we want to go ahead and spawn these traces for a specific time period, not a do once frame. Okay, so let's go ahead and name this bp underscore notify underscore something as, you know, punch trace, whatever it is, and open this up. Now before we start adding our code and all of this stuff, let's go to the montage, and as you can see, we have a notify track, so we can just locate when we want to start making the trace. Will be kind of here. So on this track, right click, add notify state, and then we can add our punch trace. As you can see, because it's state, we can drag the ending. Okay, so it will be around here. Yeah, perfectly fine. Now by difference, the notify is only once, as you can see, right? It's only one frame, there's no duration. That's why we preferred to use the state, so we can spawn the traces from this point to this point. All right, cool. So let's close this and go back to our, you know, notify, and on here under functions we can override, okay, the begin and the end. So on begin, let's go ahead and add this, and then override end, and there we go. Okay, so we have two functions, begin and end. And the begin, we will start this traces loop, and on the end we will stop this traces loop. As simple as that. All right, so under the begin, what we're going to do is just tell our player to start executing these traces. Okay, so how we're going to do this? Well, the most optimal way is to use an interface. So we go back to the content browser, we can right click, blueprint, interface, bpi underscore, and then something as traces. So what is a interface? Well, it's essentially just a method of executing functions in other classes without having a direct reference in memory of that class, which is just way more optimal. Okay, you will see in a second what do I mean when I put this in practice. Okay, so this will be something as start punch trace, and then we'll create another function which will be, well, the opposite, stop punch trace. Okay, as simple as that. So now in our third person character blueprint, we can go to class settings, and under interfaces add this interface. Okay, and there we go. We can now add the start and stop, and we can execute all the code from here. All right, so before we do all that, let's link this up with our notify. So in our notify, in the begin, we will simply get the mesh component and get the owner. Okay, so that way we are accessing the blueprint. Now this blueprint is generic, it's just a simple actor. So usually we would need to say cast to third person character blueprint, and then from there say start, you know, the punch trace. But with interfaces, we skip all of that and we just say start punch trace. It's just way easier, right? And by the other way is also more efficient, because this way saves memory. We don't need to cast into the third person character, which is just way better. Okay, let's do the same with this one, right? So for the end, now make sure that you're matching start with begin and now end with the end. So get owner, let's try this, there we go, and then we'll stop punch trace. Okay, as simple as that. Let's connect this over here, connect this, and that's it. We can literally close our trace, and we can also close the function and then go back to the third person character. Cool, so basically let's make some spacing, and on the start we will simply use this set timer by event node. Okay, this will essentially start a loop. So what we can do is create a new custom event, which will be trace or punch trace, right? And we will set this to loop, and we will do this like every 0.1 second. Okay, so it will be super accurate. The more you do, right, the more accurate it will be. If we do this every 0.5 seconds, maybe we don't get the enemy when we are sliding through it. So with that said, we're gonna drag this and say sphere, trace, and then we have a few options. We can do by channel or for objects. In this case, I prefer to do for objects so I can detect, you know, other enemies a bit easier. Okay, so with that said, we need the start and end location, and this is where our sockets come in. What we can do is get the mesh and then simply say get socket, and then we have location, rotation, and transform. Let's get transform so we get the whole pack, and then we need to put in the socket name. In this case, well, we have upper arm trace. So literally come to the details, copy, and paste it in. Okay, make sure it is written exactly the same, otherwise things will not work. Now in the weld space, let's leave this as weld for now, and then we can right click and split, and we have location, rotation, and scale. Alright, so for this upper arm trace, we just need to put the location to the start. Let's move this down here, and now we need another socket for our destination, which is of course the hand. So literally copy and paste, plug this to the mesh, and then select the hand, copy the name of the details, paste this in exactly the same. Make sure there's no spaces after anything like that, right? And then we need to get the rotation and get the forward vector. Okay, so we get the direction that this is facing, and actually we can directly go there, because we're gonna go from this location to this location. We're not gonna add any offsets or whatever. If we wanted to add an offset, like going a bit more than the hand, we can do that, but in this case I don't think it's necessary. This will be more than enough, so directly just plug the location to here. Now yes, I know that we got the transform and we got this big nodes and we don't need the rotation and scale, but I prefer to have them just in case I want to do things as the offset and so on in the future. Okay, it's just handy to have like this. You can just get the location if you want, but I'm gonna leave it like this. Now the radius is how big will this sphere be, right? The bigger it is, the easier it's gonna be to detect the enemy. So let's put in like 25 just for now, or 20. Maybe that's too much, I don't know. Let's check it out. Okay, now the object types, we just need to drag and say make array, and let's put in pawn. Okay, so we will detect essentially enemies, because all the characters in Unreal will always be a type of pawn. Now with that said, to preview this trace, what we can do is say draw debug type, and we can put it for 1 frame or for duration. In this case, as the duration, let's put it to 0.1 second. Okay, cool. So now this should go ahead and work. We will start this loop once we punch. Press play. Boom. As you can see, we are doing these traces once we punch. Now let's go ahead and just execute this for every frame. Yes, better I think if we do it duration. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so yeah, the only thing that I need to do is just put this made to 0.05, okay, and it will happen basically more often, as you can see. Great. So you will notice one thing, which is that our loop doesn't stop. So that's where the second function that we created through the interface comes in. Now remember, this is plugged in into our notify, to our montage. So the only thing we need to do is stop this loop. How do we do this? Well, we're gonna save the loop in a variable. So this will be the punch trace loop, and I'm gonna go down, get this, and do a clear and invalidate timer by handle. Now I also like to right click, not right click, but drag and say is valid. So we will only do this if the loop is active, and we will avoid any errors later on just in case. Alright, and there we go, we are good. So you will see that we also stopped the loop, and it's perfect. This is super accurate. Okay, so the only thing left to do is to apply damage to whatever we are hitting. Okay, so this is gonna be done in our montage, in our trace, right? Because that's what we do to detect the objects. So if we have hit something, okay, we will continue, and we can access this variable. If we break this output, okay, we have all the information about the actor that we have detected. In this case, I'm gonna make it simple. Just drag the hit actor and apply damage. to the enemy in this case, right? So let's go ahead and put a base damage of around, 10 or whatever it is, and we'll deal damage. And literally that's it. The only thing we need to do is test this by just adding, for example, an enemy. So let's create a simple character blueprint. BP underscore is like AI. Let's putting a mesh over here to be the mannequin. So many simple, minus 89 and minus 19 rotation. So we place it correctly in the center. And then on the animation, set this to asset and then find the idle for MM. And with that said, just in the event graph, let's do an any damage. So on event any damage, we will simply destroy this actor. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Now make sure under the mesh, we scroll down, and now we have the object tied to pawn. Okay, so we will be able to detect the trace, and that's it. We need to, of course, drag this blueprint in. Of course, the AI will not move or anything, it's just a simulation. If I attack, boom, we go ahead and delete the enemy AI. This is working perfectly fine. Of course, you would add a knockback, some sounds, and once you start to do all that stuff, it will be 10 times better. So that's it, guys. If you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to my channel. Join my Unreal Club if you're serious about learning Unreal Engine 5. And now, yes, with all that said, bye-bye.